So I've just pressed record, and welcome again. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, out of your studio to make this happen, and to sit here and listen for the next 45 minutes to an hour. I really would like to thank our beautiful friends at ComDance. They are being so generous with their time and the space to invite you in. I am also here because I love to share information, and I'm very transparent with the information that I'd like to share. So I am really delivering everything today from my perspective. I'm in no way, shape or form an expert in finance, an expert in your business. You're the expert in your business. So please, if there's one or two things that come out of this lovely webinar or meeting room, please don't hesitate to take them on board and run with them. Now, we've got a question about Linktree. That's all right. We'll answer that at the end if that's all right. So I've got your little hand up there. All right. I'm going to now share my screen, and we're going to start talking about what we're here to talk about, which is how do I manage term 2? Here we go. How do I do term 2? An interesting question, and it's an interesting question that we're all being faced to deal with right now in our current environment. I do know that it's a little bit different overseas, but what I do know with Australian residents is that we are going to be forced into a lockdown at some stage, which means we're delivering our classes either online or we're delivering our classes in a different format. Whether we are or we're not is completely up to you. I have lots of people still jumping on board, which is lovely. So let's just dive deep in and get started. So a little bit about me to start off with. I am a studio owner and operator. That is my beautiful team there, if you can see my beautiful team. And I have a team of about 14 teachers, a couple of admin staff. I have a studio which has about 800 students in it, and I am extremely proud, as you are, of my studio. I'm also a dance teacher, so I've been dancing since I was 8, and that was quite a few years ago. And I'm also a speaker and a presenter. So I am the facilitator of the Teachers Room at the Australian Dance Festival in Sydney in September every year. And I also sponsor the Teachers Room. So educating teachers is what I'm super passionate about. And I also am really interested in what's going on in your environment, just as much as you probably are in mine as well. I am a health coach, I'm a life coach, and a qualified business coach. I have studied neuro-linguistic programming as well, so I am completely across those formats as far as knowing how to use language to best serve my business, how to get into the minds of business owners and get into the minds of people, and listening to language around how people are coping and operating in this climate. That's kind of my level of specialty. I also run a registered training organisation, and I'm the director of that, and I have partnerships across Australia that are delivering my certificates in dance, and they are recognised to be some of the highest quality dance education certificates across Australia. So I'm really proud of that. It's been a very big journey for me, as it has for most of you, I'm sure. But, you know, we get on with it, don't we? So we're also a very proud supporter and sponsor of the dance industry. So we are industry stakeholders, we consult with industry stakeholders, and we love doing what we're doing. Hi, Jing. All right. And so we also love to support ComDance and CSTD International. We really are very proud of our association with ComDance and the CSTD. So thank you so much for having me, ladies. I really appreciate it. You're not here to learn about me. You are actually here to learn about what we need to do to get into term 2. So I want you to just take a moment and think very clearly about what you want to get out of today's session. So if there was one thing that you really would love to achieve or gain information about around what we do for term 2, what is it? Just write it down. Don't give it to me in a chat line because I won't be able to read and talk at the same time. But have a think about that and let's see if we can problem solve with you. So our today's focus is identifying the current situation. Just going to invite, let me have a look. Okay. We are identifying the current concerns and the opportunities that are being presented to us. We're looking at the Zoom updates. So last night, Zoom changed their settings. So we're just going to go through those really quickly. And we're going to look at some useful ways to change your thinking. Fun ideas to maintain your student engagement, looking at what to charge for your classes. Like, what have we already done to set up the studio to move into term 2? What have I done to set up my studio for term 2? I'm going to be sharing that with you. What can I now do to build my confidence and the confidence of my parents? That's a really critical issue. And some ideas that we're implementing, that I'm implementing in my studio that I'd like to share with you as well. And we're looking at the intangible lesson with an extra S in there. So they are the focuses of today. Just really quickly on the Zoom update, you now have to enter a password as far as security is concerned. So every one of your participants, not today, but as of midnight tonight, every one of your participants needs to have a password to enter a Zoom meeting. So if you've been following what we're doing on these webinars and Zoom is your preferred method of delivery, then you will need to update your way you're communicating. So you'll need to provide your people with a Zoom password, and that's provided to you when you log into Zoom and create your meeting. So it's not really that much of a change. You just need to make sure that you know that Zoom is there. If you enable meeting room, waiting room as well, that provides an extra level of security, because I know security around Zoom has been a hot topic in the news. So provide them with that ID, the meeting password, and also provide them with a waiting room so that you can get on before your participants and then you can invite them on. So those two little bits of information may help you. So let's get on to today's focus. So what I understand your concerns are, and I'm not putting this into a slideshow because I want to make sure that I can sort of jump in and out of there anytime I need to. But what your concerns are, what my concerns are as studio owners, we're worried about the studio closing. Will we be back for term 2? We're worried about online classes, live or recorded. We're worried about how to price our classes, and if they are online, how do we do that? And if they're recorded, how are they priced? If they're live, how do we price that as well? So we'll be covering that. And how do I know my students will continue? We don't know, do we? Can my parents afford to keep their child coming? How do I cover my costs? All of these things I feel are your concerns. They're my concerns as well. What will I do with my teachers and admin staff, and how do I have these difficult conversations with them? And what if we were still in the situation in term 2 and in term 3? So first of all, studio closure. Will we be back for term 2 in Australia? I don't think we're going to be back. From what I can gather, we won't be back for at least another 3 months, which means we may be back at the end of term 2, it may be term 3, it may even be at the end of term 3 to term 4. So I want you to take a big, deep breath and go, you know what? That's okay. Bless you. That's okay. We can cope with that. And these webinars and meetings are really set up for you to be able to go, right, what can I put in place to make sure that if we're still in this place in term 2 and term 3, that I've got really strong, solid foundations so that I do have a student cohort that I can keep teaching. The online classes, the live or recorded, it's a really interesting thing. I see a lot of people recording classes. They're recording classes and sending them out to the students, and there's no live content, or there's half and half. Now, let me just ask you something. If you were a dance student and you, just going to get these people in, and you decided that you wanted to come to dance class, why do they come to your classes? They want correction, they want connection, and they want community. So those 3 C's are really critical for our student body. They all want that connection with each other. And their community. They want to feel like they're part of a tribe, and I've already covered this in my last Monday's webinar, but they want to be part of a tribe. They want to be part of something that's greater than them, and we all desire that, hence why you're on a ComDance webinar. They want to be corrected. So on the Zoom platform, it's brilliant in that you can say, right, let me see, Debbie, I want to see that leg rotating a little bit further at the back, and I want to see that you're not sickling. So just fix that for me. And then you can see them fixing it for themselves, which creates better neural pathways for their students, because your communication skills are increasing and they're going, what do I understand my teacher is asking me to do? So the live classes are really critical for maintaining our business. The recorded classes, I don't know how you see those. However, the way I see them is that the recorded classes, yes, you can charge for those, but they can also get free classes through the Australian Dance, the Australian Ballet. They can get free classes through, Marco Panzic's doing classes. There's lots of free classes floating around the internet. So why would they come and do a class with you and pay for it? So just have a think about that. That's my perception. It may not be the same perception for everybody, and whatever floats your boat, please, I'm not the expert in this. What I am an expert in is making sure you're thinking through your strategies before you implement them. So the online classes, the live classes are the ones that are going to add the value, that parents are going to go, oh, you know what? Everything that happens in class, I now see. And yes, they're adding value because they're acknowledging my child, they're correcting my child, they're looking at everything they possibly can as far as the timing, the artistry, the technique, all of those things are in the live platform as opposed to the recorded. Just have a think about that. How do I price my classes if they're online? I've got a really great pricing schedule that I'm going to be bringing up at the end of this, so just press pause on that for yourselves. Online and recorded, 2 separate kettles. So how do I know my students will continue? I know that they're going to continue with us, my studio, because from the get-go, we've acted quickly. We've jumped online and said, this is what's going on. We've been vulnerable and said, we don't know how this is going to happen. This is going to work. And if it will work, please come on the journey with us. And in doing so, they've gone, we love you, because we've gone, oh, it's a bit clunky. Thank you for being patient. And they've loved that whole sort of story that they're developing around us. Can my parents afford to keep their child coming? That's not up to us, you or me, to decide and determine whether they can afford it or not. There are going to be some families that can't afford it because they're on a single income or whatever their situation is. You're going to lose some students. That's sort of guaranteed. How many students you lose is completely up to how you are operating and what your philosophy and what your focus is. How do I cover my costs? That's coming up. Just hold 5 on that one. And what do I do with my teachers and admin staff? How do I have those difficult conversations? Do you know what I've discovered with my studio is that I don't have to have those difficult conversations because I've brought them along with me. I make sure that they are part of my decision-making process. So the idea of going from face-to-face to online, I called them into a Zoom meeting and I said to them, please, can we have a show of hands if you're all on board with me? And they all went, yep, we support you. We're going to be doing this alongside you. And so part of those ideas that I was throwing around with them is that they are going to lose some hours, which means they're going to be losing some income. And they all went, yep, we're still on board because we want our job at the end of this. And that's what we're all focused on. We're all focused on making sure we come out the end with some great ideas. So take your staff, take your teachers along on the ride with you, just as you are with your beautiful students, because it's not just about your students, not just about your parents, and it's not about your business. It's about every component of this is really critical. And we guaranteed will be still in this situation in term 2. I'm hoping not term 3, but just make sure that you're well aware of it. So now is the time, right now is the time to redefine what our core business is and apply the theory of continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is something that we're experts on, being a registered training organisation, because we've always got to make sure that everything we're doing is leading towards doing it better, making sure it's better for the student experience, making sure that we are practicing a lot, like much better processes. So where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I'm sure some of you have heard this little saying before, because it is, definitely where your focus goes, your energy flows. So your client focus, we've got to think about what's their problem. So in marketing, we talk about making sure that you are looking at the problems that people have and then filling those needs according to their problems. So we're looking at the client focus, we're looking at the student focus and what their problem is, we're looking at your teacher and your team focus and what their problem is also, and we're looking at the business focus. So what does the business need and what's the biggest problem that you're facing at the moment? And I'm sure everyone's got a different take on what your biggest problem is, and you won't necessarily know what all of the problems are with your teachers and your students and your clients. But if you are tuned in, you will. So it's being that empathetic person constantly, so that you're always tuned in to what's going on with that person, that she's responding the way she is. So we're the problem solvers. We choose to focus where we need to. So where is our core focus? That's the question. For you, where is your core focus at the moment? Some of you are going to say, it's me, it's my business, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And some of you are saying, well, it's my parents, because they're the ones that give me the feedback. So lead with your most important focus is what that's my advice to you. Lead with the most important focus, and that is the students. When your focus is on the student and the student experience and making sure that they're having a great time in class, they're being acknowledged and they're significant to you in your eyes, and you are making sure that they are the primary focus, then the parents are going to say, we love what you're doing and we will continue to support you because we want our kids to be happy. And it's always the way. So in the GFC that happened 2008, I think it was, I could be wrong, but in the GFC, the thing that people spent most of... Sorry?
2008.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Diane. So in the GFC, people spent money on coffee and they spent money on their kids. So I'm anticipating that this is kind of where we're flowing again, because, I drive past coffee shops on the way to the office and there's always a lineup. And where I am anticipating that it's the students that they're focusing on. So their kids, they want to make them happy. So solve the parents' problem I know I've just said it's the student's focus, but if you solve the parents' problem to get them over the hurdle of this is not hard at all, then you're going to like win friends and have lifelong raving fans, which is really a critical component of what we do. We've got to make sure that the parents fall in love with us as business owners, and we've got to make sure that the students fall in love with us as teachers. So solve the client's problem for them. So solve the space problem. You know, at the start of every lesson online, right, clear your space. You only need about 3 meters or 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters, or you only need the size of your rug in your living room. Make sure your surface is safe. So really, what I've done is I went out and sourced some tap boards for my students. So there was not a wholesaler, like a Bunnings, not even a Bunnings, but a local kind of Bunnings that were throwing out bits of masonite with cardboard on the bottom, and they were second handies, and they're really quite large. So they're 1 meter by 1.4 meters, so perfect to slide inside somebody's car. I went out and so I sourced those. They're second hand, so they're a bit tatty, but I went and sourced them. We bought a pile of them back to the studio. I spent $1 on each of them, and we sent out a Facebook post on Friday night to say, we're donating these tap boards to everybody. Any tap student, first come, first served. Well, I've got none left out the front. So I just left them out the front of the studio. People came and picked them up, and it was just amazing. And we got lots of gratitude from that. But it wasn't the gratitude that I was after. It was problem solving for them. So,
sorry, Gabby, can I interrupt there for a sec about safety of the dance area?
Sure.
Yeah, guys, there's also a really a post done by Ausdance Queensland, I think, either Queensland or Victoria, and they've listed a whole range of how you can make your home environment safe for dance. So that might be something to look into. In the meantime, I'll try to re-find it and post it onto our private members site. But there is information out there on how to keep your home a safe dance practice area.
Oh, that's awesome, Diane. Thank you for that information. Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what it's all about. It's about providing them with the information so that they're well equipped, so that you don't have any pushback, any like, this is too hard, we can't make it happen. So deal with technology concerns. So if you've got, whatever, Poppy staying with Granny, and Granny hasn't got the technology or doesn't understand the technology, give Granny a call and say, hey, Granny, let me help you through so that we're ready for our 4 o'clock call tonight. Now, you've probably only got 2 or 3, maybe 10 students at the most in that situation. So helping them out is not going to take very much time, but it's going to build so much love and trust for who you are as a brand and who you are as a studio. Make sure you address the security concerns. So we've had a couple of security concerns come through via email from parents. We've addressed those. We've gone, right, meeting rooms before our Zoom calls, and also the passwords. So that, like, boom, that's it, fixed. The time thing, the money thing, and the correction with their children, the connection with their children, sorry. The time thing, most parents are going, oh my gosh, it's school holidays, what am I going to do? I've got 24/7 with these children and there's no activity at all. So, and even in term 2, maybe term 3, if they're online schooling at home, they're at home the whole time. They're going to be bouncing off the walls. So we are an energy outlet. So it's really important for them to be able to have that. And also, keeping that connection with your students, it's really, really critical. And with their children. So it's not just mum and dad that they've got the connection with while they're in lockdown. It's also the people that they love so dearly. So some fun ideas that we're playing with here at Empower Dance and in our studios, which is Mitchum Dance and Gravity Dance, we are playing with some fun ideas to make sure that we've got the students are like, we're here, give us what you've got, and we're going to have fun with it. So we're focusing on building the community. More than anything else, we're focusing on how we can support our community, how we can build community. We add value over the holidays. So we're going, what can we do? So we're going to put some time and effort into the benefits, that into what we can do, and they could be great. I don't know what KEP means, but anyway, we'll go with it. So school holiday fun, here are some ideas for you. Ready with a pen. Why don't you make surprise holiday classes? So basically you say at 10 o'clock in the morning, every morning of the school holidays, we're going to have a surprise class. It's going to be somebody that you probably haven't learnt from before. It might be somebody you have learnt from before, but it's going to be a style and a genre that is a surprise. So all you need is your safe dance area. You need your technology. The first 100 people on, or the first 50 people on, get the spot. And so it might be Monday, Miss Anna's doing a stretch and strength class, and Miss Gabrielle's doing on a Tuesday ballet, a floor bar for ballet. Wednesday it might be hip hop with Miss Lulu, and Thursday might be a commercial jazz routine. So we're going to be doing those kind of fun things, and we're also going to be doing, Monday is Manic Monday, so you can wear your crazy Monday hair, as we're doing sort of the Monday stretch and strength with Miss Anna. Those kind of things every single day of the holidays is going to build that trust and that strength in the community, and they're going to love you even more because, thank goodness, at 10 o'clock in the morning we can switch off as parents and maybe have a pina colada by the pool kind of thing. We're going to create challenges. So the challenges over the holidays, it could be an 8 or a 16 count challenge, and the student does it, or some of the family does it, or the whole family does it. They bring their dog along or whatever. So we're going to be doing that, and we'll do a tap challenge, a contemporary challenge, a ballet challenge, a hip hop challenge, and a music theatre challenge. So we've got 5 genres in our studio, including acro, but we're just going to do those 5. And so we're going to create challenges just for those students, and they can choose what challenge they'll do. We'll then put it together. So what they do is they've got to get that 8 to 16 count phrase that we've created, and we put it online. They then learn it, and they film them doing it with a family member or whatever in a fun way, and we're going to clip it together. So it'll be like clips of the challenge to the same piece of music, and it'll be a whole piece of music with all of our students doing that. And that'll be something, if we can't have a mid-year showcase, that will be something that they can walk away with and go, that was so wonderful, we've got our, we're in our challenge. I saw a really great fun one, which was the toilet roll challenge. And I don't know whether it's anybody on here. I apologise for sharing your information, but I just thought it was gold. So the toilet roll gets passed from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen, but in the middle they grab the toilet roll from this side, and they've got it here, and they do one thing. They've got to do one thing, and then they throw it over that way, and then it goes to the next screen where that person catches it, and then they do their one thing, and then they throw it on, and they linked that together, and it was so clever. Things like that will build so much fun and creativity in your community, and they'll be like, you've got to watch this. Not only that, it's a great marketing tool because Polly's dance studio down the road may not be offering online classes, and this is a really great way of the external community to be engaged in your community. And whether that means anything, whether it means that they'll come over to you to do these online classes and back to Polly later on, I don't know. Building community and adding extra value is all about, is what our focus is at the moment. So,
Danny, sorry, Diane here. I've also seen that done with different types of dance shoes. So from your point shoes to your tap shoes to your whatever, and someone throws them the tap shoe, they put it on, they do their little thing, and then they throw the tap shoe onto the next person.
That's fun. That's so fun. So it's now time to go, right, okay, instead of being so serious all the time, let's have some fun. Thanks, Diane. That's awesome.
Gabby, I've also seen studios put down like the letters of their studio. So let's say Com Dance.
Yeah.
and come up with their acronym. So like confident, organised, motivated. At the end of it, the studio can pick the best of them. It can become their ongoing marketing.
Oh, I love that. Yes, Debbie, thank you. Yeah. So, and any ideas like that, pop it into the ComDance Facebook, private Facebook group, because those information sharing platforms are so critical for us at the moment. So we can kind of go, oh, that will work for my studio. That's not going to, but that will. Theory class. How about you create a theory activity? So go, all right, you know, I might not do it every day of the school holidays, but I might do, right, let's educate them around, you know, the bones in their feet and how important it is to utilize the muscles in their feet, those kind of things. Create a teacher challenge to share for a giggle. So get your teachers to, you know, create a little bit of a challenge and then put that all together and allow the studio families to have a bit of a giggle. So get them to do that. That would be a really great way to build, you know, community, showing your teachers that they're absolute fun time.
Gabby, another thing that I've seen done really well is if the teacher actually does have a skeleton to teach their anatomy, get the kids to virtually costume it.
Oh, awesome.
Just adds a bit of fun to the mundane of the anatomy part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Well, some studios don't offer anatomy classes, and that's completely okay. But you know, this is all. This is a great way of making things even better than what it has been. What about you do in-studio competitions? So during school holidays, or even not during school holidays, you could do in-studio competitions where you say, right, okay, everybody's got to put together everybody who wants to enter, 30 seconds of a commercial jazz routine or a contemporary routine. We'll film it, we'll place them all together into a collage, and then we will, you know, we can either judge them or we don't judge them, or, you know, whatever you want to do with that, whatever fits right with your studio culture. How about creating theme days? So up in our office, we've got this huge whiteboard on our wall that we've got, you know, bring a dog to dance day, create a pas de deux with your cat day, you know, those kind of things. Wear your pajamas, crazy hair day, all of those kind of theme days. I'm sure you've got some great ideas around that. And build the generosity, like give them as much fun as possible in the school holidays, because that's where you're going to have parents go, I see the value in this. I don't see how we can live without the dance class and the dance community that we're involved in. And of course, as I said, please add your ideas to the list that I've provided here. It's only short. We've got like a gazillion ideas. But please pop your ideas in the ComDance teachers, the special page there.
Private page, Gabby. Private members page.
I can't get my words out, Diane. And so for term 2, you're going to reset the thought process for them. So reset their accounts, reset their brains, reset the way they're doing it. So here is some other ideas. So fun ideas we're playing with. Oh, I think I've just done that. I have. Oh, there's 2 slides the same. How fun is that? So let's get on to charging for your classes. So when you're thinking about money, yep, I can see everybody picking their pens up and their notepads. They're ready to go. Are you ready? So you've set up your classes online, I'm hoping, and now you'll decide the value the parents see. So when you are online, the parents see the value or the not so much value that they're getting. So the more you can sort of instill that level of community connection and that whole contribution thing, then they will go, yep, it's worthwhile paying for this. All right. So correction and connection, those 2 things are the key to working out your charges. So you've got to go, I'm offering correction to every one of these students in every single class. Yes, I'm not actually putting my hands on them and manipulating them as I would normally if you are that kind of teacher, but I'm using my communication skills and I'm correcting every single person. And you're able to do that on Zoom. So and connection. It's like at the start of class, oh, you've had your hair cut. I love that. And happy birthday. You know, let's all sing happy birthday to Michaela because it was her birthday on Sunday and today is Monday and it was just yesterday. And what did you get for your birthday? And all of those kind of things, getting them really engaged in what they're doing. How have I done it? That's the question that most people are asking. How am I charging for my classes? Well, I have reduced some of the class lengths. So if they're an hour and 25, an hour and a quarter classes, I've just reduced them to an hour classes. And so that reduces my teachers' paid time. So, and I've also combined classes where I can. So, for example, our acro classes, I have a real safety issue with the way acro is being done at home, and I don't want our students to be doing acro at home without the spotting and without the correct safety measures. So what I'm doing is we're saying all of the students can do a stretch and strength class, and that is open to everybody from the age of 12 and above kind of thing. And that's an additional class which, you know, they may not enroll in acro classes, but they might enroll in a stretch and strength class, because if it means they're going to be able to do the splits now and they weren't able to do it before, there's a selling point. So I've also so I've really focused on decreasing the costs. So how I've done it is I've calculated the expenses to cover. So we've rearranged Term 2's timetable, and I've then said, right, okay, I am going to need X amount of dollars. Let's say it's, you know, $50,000 for my team, to pay my team. Then I've added all of my overheads, so my rent, my insurances, everything else, all my subscriptions, my music licenses, all of those kind of things. I've added that into the kitty. So, for example, you know, I might be paying $20,000 a month. That's what my expenses are. So over the term, it means I'm going to have to make sure, $20,000 a week. So over the term, which is 10 weeks in Australia, I'm going to have to make sure I generate $200,000 for the term. Everybody with me? Yeah, good. So if I've got to generate $200,000 for the term, then I've got to then look at my timetable and calculate how many students I need in each class, just like you would normally do it. And then I calculate how to cost my classes from there. So, for example, some people do it, you know, in half an hour increments. Every half an hour they pay $50, or every half an hour they pay $120, or whatever it is. You can calculate it from there. That is just a really simple guide to help you along the way to say, right, okay, I've got to put all my expenses in one basket. I've got to put my income, what I anticipate my income is, if everybody stays on, as far as students are concerned, then I can decrease. So my studio I've done exactly that. I've spent the weekend looking at all of that and doing the data analytics, and I've decided that we are cutting 20% off their fees. So with every hour class, let's say they're paying, for example, this is not how much we charge, but if they're paying $100 a class for the hour class, then they'd be paying $80. So they're just getting the tuition, and that's going to be online, and it's going to be face-to-face as far as the online delivery. It's real-time delivery. All right. So the thing that we've been playing around with, and we've decided not to, but I'm going to throw this out to you. You can choose to use it how you want. Can you ask the parents what they think? Use a Survey Monkey or a Facebook poll or something like that. If you really want to ask the parents, ask away. We're not going to ask the parents in my studio because they've already spoken. They say, we love you, and they've already said, this is something that we want to continue. So we are just going to roll it out. There are a few ways of doing this, and I've been watching what's been happening in other industries. So people sometimes do pay what you can. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. There is pay up front, pay 50% now and the rest later. hop onto a payment plan. Some people already have payment plans. They don't sort of charge by term. They charge, every month or every week. That's fine. So give them sort of options. We're going to give them a menu of 4 different ways of doing it. One is upfront, pay upfront now. One is pay 50% and pay the rest later. The other one is put you on a payment plan. Payment plan is plan A or plan B. And yes, it's going to mean more admin for us. However, it's actually going to be, it's building that trust again, that we are there to look after them, to service their needs in these times. You could also reduce by a percentage. You can offer a coupon. So on our accounts list, there is the space to put in either a discount or a coupon. Now, I don't love the word discount, but I love the word coupon. Discount sometimes means that for me, it's, I can afford to give you this, so I'm just going to throw it at you. Whereas a coupon is like, yep, I need this coupon and I've got to use it, kind of thing. So they can use it if they want to. If they don't want to use it, then they can pay the full fees. So it really, that sort of gives them the opportunity to get the 20% off, or they can, they can pay full fees. It's up to them. What about a gift certificate? So the parent might not necessarily be able to pay for that, but Auntie Floss or Nana might be able to pay for the gift certificate. So it might be a great way of saying, hey, Nana, can you please see if you can make the gift certificate happen? And then that gives Polly the terms dance that we can't afford her to do. What about a credit note to be used when they need? What about, here's a credit note for 20% of your fees. You can use it either in term 2, term 3 or term 4, whatever you want to do. With our concert this year, there's changes happening with concerts for everybody. I understand that. So what we're doing is we are not charging for our costumes. So we normally spread the costume levy out over 4 increments over the term. So term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, and they all pay $20 per costume, per style they're studying. That then goes into the kitty, and then we buy the costumes, and then they go out and they wear their costumes on stage and they take them home. They own them. So we are not charging them for costumes, and in fact the $20 that they've paid in term 1 will go towards headpieces, and everybody will be dressed in their uniform or black or something, and we're going to make it a little bit more special that way, building the community again, so the community can come in and assist with that decision making with us. So we'll have parents making headpieces for this class, and chokers and feathers or wings or something for the next class. So building a strategy around your concert is really important, and you've got to show the parents that you're thinking about those kind of things, because they'll be thinking about what's going to happen with concert, what do we do, and what are they thinking about concert. So above all else, we are thinking about these most amazing points, because yes, we're dance teachers and studio owners, but ultimately we are teachers of life. All right, our vehicle is dance, but we're teaching them how to be in life. So show them how to be, show them how to cope under pressure, because we can be calm or we can be frantic. Your choice. You want to teach, everything you do is teaching them how to be. So build value in your classes, number 1. Communicate the value you'll be adding to their child and to their classes as a student. Have some fun. Get your playfulness out and have some fun. Be vulnerable and bring them along with you. So go, I'm really nervous about this. And I spoke to one of our beautiful partners the other day, and she's like, I'm going to try Zoom, and it's going to be tonight, and it's going to be with my certificate students, and I'm really scared. And what if? And I'm like, what if? What happens if you make a mess of it? They will be along with you to help you. And we don't have to be perfect in this environment, because it's not necessarily our strength. Our strength is to give value and to correct dancers and make sure their technique is wonderful. Charge what you need to, with the client in mind. So focus on the client, but also look after where you need to to be. So make sure you pay yourself a little bit at least, but really focus on the client and focus on charging what you need to without...
Gabby, I think that's a really important point. At the moment, we're not here to make money. We're here to maintain our business.
Bingo.
As long as everyone can eat at the end of the day and people are paid, now's not the time to be looking for the cream on the cake. Let's just be able to eat the cake where everybody's happy. I think it's a really important point.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's go into term 2, looking at this as an opportunity for you and your students to grow, not as a problem. It's not a problem. It is just the most beautiful opportunity that we're blessed with. Keep yourself safe though. And listen to what they're saying. Listen to what's going on in the background. Listen to your own head as well, and write all the things down that are not resourceful for you, and write down the things that are resourceful for you. So if there's a really positive something that's coming up, then write it down and make that your mantra. If there's something that's unresourceful, that's not working for you, you need to get rid of that, and you need to process that really quickly, because that will infiltrate your business and you don't want that. You need to be their beacon of light, and then in turn, they will be your beacon, which is so beautiful. And remember, connection and community is so critical. So asking for help in the Facebook group, the ComDance Facebook group, and in the studio owners around you. So there we go. That is it. And we've covered a lot of information there, and I know you've probably got a gazillion questions. If you've got questions, we've got this recorded, so it'll go into the Facebook group in probably half an hour's time. And if you need any questions really desperately answered now, then I will definitely answer them if I can, and if I know it serves the group. So Linda's asking questions to you, Diane, if we're able to get students ready for examinations. I think we've covered that. Yes, we definitely are. But I will let Diane cover that on the Facebook group as well.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, we are. In fact, next week I'm going to have an state organisers meeting where we're going to cover what our exam options are, and we'll go through a whole range of things. I think it's important, it's certainly important for the society that we are able to continue exams, because it's what keeps us going. But secondly, it's important for the teachers that you have this light at the end of the rainbow and something for people to work towards while you are offering online classes. So most definitely we will be looking in whatever way we're able to deliver exams in 2020. Yes.
Wonderful.
And I do think that the feedback from how online exams have worked in Singapore, and Ruby is online and Dee, they'll be able to tell you too, is that for parents and teachers, that is also value adding, because they see a purpose in continuing the classes, not just the fun aspect, but at the end of paying all of that, the child has still achieved that formal recognition.
Yeah, and that's critical. The fact that they're setting the goal still and they're working towards that and achieving that, it's really important. So I just want to answer some questions. So how many would you limit to your live stream classes if you were aiming to provide corrections? We've limited it to 20. So that's it. I would say however many you're comfortable with, 10 or 20, whatever your limit is in classes, that's kind of what I've sort of gauged that on. Quick question, only if time, how did you manage the shoe noise? I think we covered that. Michelle, have a listen to the second webinar about the online classes, because we covered that then. I hope that helps. And if you've got any other questions, please just email me or you can give me a call. Recommendations or suggestions to countries like Hong Kong where space is challenging because it's very limited. Any response? Okay. So I've had students dancing in their kitchen. So I don't know whether that helps, but, dancing in their kitchen, making sure that you're teaching to the parameters that they're going to have. there will be, I'm sure there's some space there. You've got to get them to be creative. I've got a boy at the moment who's like, I can't be online because I've got no space. And yet he's back here and the screen is there. And I'm like, well, there's that space. Even if they've got a metre or a metre 20 either side, I think that, you can create your classes around that.
I'd also say in those places with small areas, such as in some of the Asian places we operate, what about the basketball courts or the hard space that's downstairs in the high-rise buildings or in green space? Take the laptop and go and do the class in the green space, that's provided in the park or in the... I do think a lot of those buildings all have the playground areas downstairs. So
yeah,
maybe...
Di, at the moment, I know what Jeremy's saying. At the moment, you're not allowed to access them. But I would suggest even like in the bathroom, like the towel rack, you mightn't be able to do grand battements, but you can still do pliés and dégagé and just modify the exercise to the space that you've got. You mightn't be able to do all of the syllabus, but just refine what you can in the confined space that you're in.
So very quickly on Linktree, I know there's a question there that's been popping up. Linktree, have a research around that. It's simply a platform where you can put all of your links for your classes on and send that one link out to all of your parents. They then click on what class they're doing and it will provide them with the link that they drag and drop to their browser. As simple as that. Please go and research that, because it's a really great tool. The schools, I know some schools who've contacted their staff and asked if they're happy for a 20% pay cut to match the 20% reduction of online classes. What are your thoughts on this? I think if you have taken your staff along for the ride with you and they're making decisions with you, then they will know that conversation's coming. Now, the 20% pay cut, what we've done is instead of the 20% pay cut, we've said, right, okay, instead of having the level 5 jazz twice on a weekday, we're going to do level 5 jazz once. That creates that 20% pay cut because they're actually only delivering once. So making sure that your team are along with you. And I know it's a difficult conversation to have, but if they are standing beside you and not in front of you, and what I mean by that is if they're standing beside you and you're arm in arm, we're going to fight this together, rather than you are our leader, you tell us what to do, then you're going to get their buy-in and they will do whatever it takes. Online exams. Okay, I'm going to let Diane.
Sure.
I think, Diane, you're going to be covering that in your information you're sending out, right?
I am. I'm actually going to do a video of my own and next week, and I'm just going to talk to people through everything that we've got going on at the moment, how we're hoping to deliver, all of those sorts of things. And so once that's done, then hopefully you may have questions answered. Also, in the meantime, please, if you've got questions, you can easily private message me on the Facebook page, and I'll come straight back to you.
Great. So this brings us to the conclusion of our webinar for today. I am so thankful and grateful that you have jumped on board, and I really respect the fact that, we're all in this together. Please know that you've got friends around you. And if you do have any questions, please sing out. Lean on the people that you need to lean on. It's not shameful to actually ask for help, especially at this time. And no question is too crazy or too serious.
Yeah. Everyone, thanks for joining us. It's been so lovely this morning to see new names pop up on the screen, and also so rewarding to see the people who have come back to join us for the third time, some people, Gabby. So, yeah, obviously you're delivering exactly what people need. So thanks a lot. Everyone, next week is Easter Monday here in Australia. So we're going to not have a webinar next week. and we'll be back the following week. However, as I say, if you've got extra questions you've got for either Gabby or myself, then please just message us and we will do our best to come back to you. I will get the QuickTime video up in the meantime between now and before we meet with Gabby again, and hopefully I'll have some answers to your questions. We have a executive committee meeting next week, so some of this will be addressed there also. So if you have questions, I can raise them there also for you. But as usual, our most sincere and plentiful thanks, Gabby, for your time, your energy, your kindness. And I think if we don't get anything else out of this terrible time, we're going to find out exactly the meaning of kindness. So thank you, Gabby.
Oh, it is absolutely my pleasure, Diane. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thanks so much, Gabby. And to our members, international members that joined us for the first time, just a reminder that Gabby's first 2 webinars are available through that Facebook page that all your organisers have been sent for you to join. So please jump on and please share the word that truly we are a global community of dance. So encourage everyone else to jump on board.
Yeah.
And also this will be available to you on the Facebook page, a group also, like in half an hour's time. I'll upload it straight away. Okay?
Thanks a lot, Gabby. And to those of you celebrating Easter,
happy Easter, everyone.
Yes. Take care and be safe, everyone. Thank you so much.
You can go down and leave the meeting down in the right-hand corner so we know you've gone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you, Gabby.
Thanks, Gabby.
As always.
Thank you. Do you want to stay on, or are you okay to?
As always, Gabby, really wonderful. Really, really wonderful.
Thanks, Debbie. Thank you.
Oh, I'm just so heartened to see so many international members jump on.
Oh.
The word will be out. The word will be out now.
Yeah. There are a few people that jumped on a bit late internationally, so they may sort of ask that, oh, what's happening? But if you just
it's just the time zones, Gabby, right. And I did tell them. Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm just looking, India, Hong Kong, Cambodia, Singapore. It's just wonderful to see them joining.
It is, yeah.
Joseph, Debbie.
Hayla.
And Joseph?
Well, I invited Joseph because I think Joseph, Gabby, is our guy that did all our online exams from Singapore.
Oh, gorgeous.
So he's also he's a really kind gentleman, and he's there to share with, in every country that we have to online, he's happy to share what we learned along the journey. Yeah. But he's also the first port of call for our Singapore teachers to go back. So a lot of them will go back and ask him, how do I find those webinars? How do I do that? Right. So I thought it was really important that he was invited to join, A, to hear what we're thinking, B, what we think our members are going to need and how we can support them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, can I just pause you ladies, because Suzanne's got a question that she's been busting to ask me. Sorry, Suzanne, can you unmute yourself? No. I'm trying to unmute you, but it doesn't seem to be happening.
I think I'm unmuted.
Suzanne, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm actually on a phone and I couldn't find how to leave. I wasn't.
Oh, you need to leave.
No, I couldn't find how to leave. I'm not good at doing things like this on my phone, and I'm like, how do you leave?
Yeah.
So I was hanging around. I was going to ask Deanne and yourself and Debbie if there would be any chance during this crisis time if we could have some online classes presented for the students, even for the advanced students, like the advanced ballet students.
Okay, Suzanne, I have just sent an email this morning to our examiners.
I did ask, so it's funny that you asked that because I raised it with Diane last week about just some tutorial type of classes.
Where we can, I'm going to break all our syllabus down into smaller lots where we might be able to do some demonstrations on how to teach the difficult things people are having difficulty with, common errors, what the examiners are looking for, those sorts of PD. I've also spoken to Rochelle Conroy and Nikki Rowland about doing a workshop online for us. So yes, it's in the pipeline, Suzanne, and we're working towards it.
Okay, thank you, ladies. And I can just say this before I go. You sound so much like your mother. It freaks me out.
But at least, Suzanne, you didn't say what most people say. You look so much like your mother, which would be a terrible thing right now.
No comment. Buttons and bows. Love Miss Betty. Yeah,